Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As usual, I am your host, sellssi. And no, the Black Star squad is still not out. Rumors are circulating that the FA is trying to influence Coach MILOVAN RAJEVAC. This is just an update on the squad that Coach Milo wants to bring out. It has been confirmed, however, by St. Pauli star Daniel Kovitre's side that he has been called up for the African Cup of Nations. He's the only one that's gotten a confirmation, or his club has given a confirmation to that effect. We all know what's happening across the clubs in Europe. Most of them are contemplating whether they will allow the African players to go for AFCON. But the news is with the Ghana Black Stars, who rumors are circulating that Coach Milo, after meeting with the management committee of the Ghana Black Stars, decided that he wanted to name 26 players. The management committee wanted him to name a provisional squad of 40 players first before naming the 30 later. We'll be looking at that story further today. As usual, subscribe if you have not. Click on the notification bell to get more updates. So that same old story again, where the FA are trying to influence the coach in some way. The rumors are making the rounds and they are gaining momentum that Coach MILOVAN RAJEVAC prefers to name his final squad. And if places are available, or if something happens to one player, you call them up. And I think this logic makes sense. It will be much more easier for players to take when they are not called up and being invited later. Imagine you are called up into the 40 and you have to be asked later on. That will be more painful, and it just makes sense not to waste anybody's time. So Coach Milo has his 26-man squad, which the FA is trying to make him add 14 more players to make it a 40-man squad for the African Cup of Nations. Remember, for the AFCON, we are allowed to call 28 players instead of the mandatory, which used to be 23 players for the competition, and you would provide for the 5 extra players you call up. But Coach MILOVAN RAJEVAC, according to this post by Muftar Nabila, a trusted journalist with Joy Sports, says that why is the Ghana FA pushing MILOVAN RAJEVAC to name a 40-man provisional squad when the man wants 26? The squad was supposed to be released last week. As you're all aware, it was stated by an executive committee member of the FA that the squad will be released on Thursday, and it's still not been released. And camping is set to begin on the 22nd of December. That's on Wednesday. So I think it's quite unfortunate what is happening. This happened in 2010 with Milo, and when Lai Kingston was not called up by the gaffer. At the time, there were pushes for him to be included in the team, and Milo gave them the options on the table. Who would I remove for Lai Kingston? Because all the players I called are good and worthy. Lai is good, but not better than those he had called, and they had to let things go. The FA, I thought they would have learned something from CK Akono's time and tenure there. Coach Milo will not budge. His job will be on the line if things don't go according to plan, and he's trying to make sure that what he wants is what he gets, so that when you are sacking him, you know that he took all the decisions on his own. You tried to suggest players to him and he didn't take it. And the FA, if this is exactly what is happening, have to understand that yes, they are open to suggesting players to the coach. The coach as well can reject those suggestions. It's just something that happens, and from time to time you suggest a player, the coach looks at him, okay, I don't like him, and that's fine. We have to learn to accept the final decision of the coach, because as I said, his job is what is on the line. But the Seb wants a 26-man squad, and the FA wants a 40 provisional list. Then on the 30th, he names his final squad. Why put players through the trauma of thinking they will be called for AFCON and then being asked? It's even more painful. Remember what happened in 2019 when Majida Shimeru, who had been removed from the squad, had to hear it from media outlets because there was a leak in the Black Stars team. It was really a painful time for Ashimeru, who expressed his pain in why he had to hear it from the media first and why the FA management members did not tell him. I think things like this is what Milo is trying to avoid. If he calls his 26 and something happens and one of them cannot make it, then it will be much better for him to now call another player into the team in replacement. And if it were me, if I were a player, I think I'll prefer this method, because having to be called, then to be asked, it will be much more painful. But we are still waiting for the squad list. It's set to come out tonight, and nothing yet. So we are looking at tomorrow. The FA today launched their official app, and since then have gone quiet on us in terms of the Black Stars squad for the African Cup of Nations, which the CAF president also looks to be contemplating whether it will come off. Yesterday there was an emergency meeting to vote on whether the AFCON could be cancelled. It looks like FIFA president Gianni Infantino wants the AFCON to be cancelled. And there was a vote. The EXCO members voted for the AFCON to continue as scheduled. It's quite shocking, to say the least, that the AFCON is still being questioned as to whether it will come off or not. We are just 20 days away from the African Cup of Nations, Africa's biggest continental competition, and we are still contemplating whether it will come off or not. What is all that? Why is FIFA president interfering in the affairs of CAF like this? Does that happen in the EU? Does FIFA interfere like this in the EU? I think we all need to put our acts together and do the right thing. The African Cup of Nations cannot be postponed this year. No, I mean 2022 is also a World Cup year, and to have it postponed in January, when again can it be played? In March we have a World Cup playoffs. In June as well, there will be World Cup playoffs in Europe, probably in June, but it will not be favorable for a lot in June. So I think the date of January is still feasible, it's still possible, and the CAF have to stand their ground, because there will be a lot of interference, as the ECA started last week and now FIFA did yesterday, to try to get us to kowtow and change the date for the African Cup of Nations. So that has been it. Coach MILOVAN RAJEVAC wants a 26-man squad. The FA are trying to push him to bring out a 40-man provisional list. It's why we have not heard anything on the squad yet. Also, we've been talking about Daniel Kofi Tre. His club side, St. Pauli, have confirmed that they have gotten a call-up from the Ghana Black Stars. It's definitely the case that Kofi is in the squad for Ghana, said Andreas Bornemann. A few weeks ago, the sports director assumed that it was not anchored in the international calendar to have appointed players go to the tournament in Cameroon. But now there's a bit of mandatory parking through the back door. The 25-year-old made his debut for the Black Stars versus Ethiopia in the opening game of the World Cup qualifier. Black Stars coach is yet set to name his final squad. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.